So friends, we continue to monitor the events on the Ukrainian front, Russia and the news. Today we see active preparation of territory for the advancement of Ukrainian forces. This is done to minimize losses from counterattacks, so depots, bases, and even, according to preliminary information, another attempt to destroy the Crimean bridge took place yesterday. Some experts claim that missiles were launched in that direction and were shot down near Kerch, just 3.5 kilometers from the Crimean bridge. One of the S-200 missiles launched by Kiev on July 9th targeted the Crimean bridge, while the second was heading towards a military airfield in the Rostov region, as reported by the Chief of the General Staff of the Air Space Forces, Avzalov. But before we begin, make sure to like, subscribe to the channel and don't forget to hit the bell icon to stay updated on all the latest news. At the moment, many believe that the situation on the southern front has calmed down and nothing is happening. But in reality, we see active artillery preparation. Yesterday, there were reports of new explosions at a Russian base near Melitopol. In turn, the Russians shelled Nikopol and Orykhov yesterday, but there is no significant activity along the front line and no offensive actions are currently being observed. The situation is more intense in the Vuhledar area, where there are more shelling incidents from the Russians and offensive actions are taking place in the direction of Blagodatne. The Russians continue their attempts to regain lost positions, but the Ukrainian forces are holding their ground and no new attacks have been launched, so the front line remains unchanged. The situation in the Kherson direction is also difficult because the shelling continues, affecting both civilian and Ukrainian positions. The Russians are actively conducting reconnaissance and trying to destroy as much equipment as possible to prevent the Ukrainian forces from advancing further to the left bank. However, the Ukrainian forces are also firing at Russian positions and no offensive actions are currently being reported. In the Avdiivka direction, the Russians are actively assaulting Ukrainian positions and trying to encircle Avdiivka again. There is a high number of shelling incidents reported in this area. Attacks have been observed in the area of Keramik and Stepove, towards the coke chemical plant. However, the Ukrainian forces have established a strong position, making it unlikely for the Russians to dislodge them. Further south, there are also a significant number of attacks. Pervomayske and Nevelske are under fire, as well as Mariinka as before. The Russians are not sparing ammunition for shelling and forces for offensive actions. Periodically, they also deploy heavy equipment, but the Ukrainian forces have been successful in destroying them. Therefore, the front line has remained unchanged for a long time, and the Ukrainian forces have shown that 2 days ago they managed to capture another prisoner in completely devastated Mariinka. In the Bakhmut direction, the Ukrainian forces are gradually advancing on Russian positions. The Ukrainian forces report that they are already practically in Berkhivka. In turn, the Russians continue shelling, but they can no longer stop the Ukrainian advance. It seems that one of the main goals today is Bakhmut itself, and the Ukrainian forces report that they have secured the outskirts of Klishivka, and apparently there are still battles for the center, because the Russians continue to send reinforcements to avoid losing this settlement. In the Crimea and Siversk areas, the Russians continue their attempts to push the Ukrainian forces out of a small section of the front where they are surrounded on three sides. However, the Ukrainian forces have the advantage of being positioned on high ground, resulting in success for the Ukrainian units, and the front line remains unchanged. In the Svatove area, the situation is more complicated. Active offensive actions are taking place in Stelmachivka, Novoselivske and Berestove, but the front line remains unchanged. We are waiting to see how these battles will end. In the Dvorichna area, the situation is stable with ongoing shelling but no offensive actions. It is also reported that in the past week, the Ukrainian forces managed to destroy 20 ammunition depots and 14 Russian bases and headquarters. On the Russian side, there is interesting news. Putin held a meeting with the commanders of the Wagner Group and Prigozhin in the Kremlin on June 29th. As stated in the Kremlin, the commanders themselves emphasized that they are loyal supporters and soldiers of the head of the state and the supreme commander and declared their readiness to continue fighting for the motherland. According to Peskov, during the meeting, Putin assessed the actions of the Wagner Group on the front and regarding the coup attempt. Peskov claims that the Russian dictator listened to the explanations of the Wagner Group commanders and offered them employment options and opportunities for military use. In turn, the Wagner members allegedly presented their version of events to Putin. Furthermore, Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba stated that after the discussion, NATO member countries agreed to cancel the membership action plan for Ukraine on its path to joining the alliance. Kuleba wrote about this on Twitter. After intense discussion, NATO allies reached a consensus on cancelling the map on Ukraine's path to membership in the alliance, Kuleba noted. The foreign minister welcomed this decision, which, as he mentioned, would shorten Ukraine's path to NATO. It is also the best moment to bring clarity regarding Ukraine's invitation to join the alliance, Kuleba added. And now Russia has started threatening with its reaction to Ukraine's NATO membership. Supposedly, it will be a threat to Russia and will require a response. As Peskov stated, Kiev is allegedly trying to pressure NATO countries to demonstrate solidarity. According to him, Ukraine's accession to NATO will have very negative consequences for the security architecture of Europe. Ukraine as a NATO member will become a threat to Russia, which will require a clear and firm response. And that's all for now. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.